Let's go quickly here to this letter written by Paul of Tarsus. But before we read this passage, it's his second letter of Timothy 4:13. Bear in mind Paul of Tarsus. It's noted in Scripture that 40 different people vowed not to eat or drink until he was dead. That's how serious this was. So when Paul of Tarsus is giving presentations, he's risking his life. He has people searching for him that want him dead badly. Why? Because he's telling people that Jesus is the resurrected Messiah, and they don't like that. So bear in mind when Paul of Tarsus writes a letter, he has to be careful what he's saying in there in case that letter is intercepted. He's got 40 people looking for him that won't eat or drink until he's dead. So he writes this word, the cloak. And that's how they translated this word in the Bible, which is not just a cloak.
The cloak, not my cloak, the cloak. I left with Carpus in Troas. When you come to Rome, Paul of Tarsus is in Rome, Italy. When you come to Rome, bring it with you. And the books, but especially the parchments. Bear in mind, it's quite a distance. He's asking Timothy to come all the way to Rome, Italy. To bring him a warm coat? Wrong. That is not what that word is. I'm going to write the word that Paul of Tarsus wrote, which is like this. This is ancient Greek. This word is never used again in New Testament or Old Testament or any ancient scripture. It's a one-of-a-kind word used to describe a one-of-a-kind thing. This word is a dual feminine noun. Under ancient Greek is classified under cloak, something that covers or conceals, as in shroud, not as in garment. It also means light. It's derived from the ancient Greek word phos, which literally means light. A heavenly light, such as surrounds angels when they appear on earth. To shine, something that shines, or made manifest especially by rays. All right, so the word that Paul of Tarsus wrote is a shroud that has to do also with heavenly light.
So why would you combine a heavenly light with a mantle and combine those two words together? Something that shines. And a mantle, by definition of its word, is a long, wide band of cloth used by a high priest, prophet, or king. And that's what a mantle is. The Shroud of Turin was woven to be a mantle. In Costa Rica, they still call this. They call this the mantle of Jesus. El manto de Jesus. They still use that older form of the word. But it's a real interesting question to ask why he would use these two words and combine them together, but it's kind of obvious. Word. Second letter of Timothy 4:13. The cloak, the illuminated shroud that I left with Carpus. When you come to Rome, bring it with you, and the books, but especially the parchments. He uses that name, Carpus. He's being sought after by 40 assassins. If his letter is intercepted, they're going to go straight to Troas and say, where's this Carpus guy at? Because we're going to destroy his books, his parchments, and this illuminated shroud, or whatever that is. So he uses code words. And Carpus, and they'll go looking for Carpus in Troas and find out there is no such person. So he has to be careful what he writes. But that's the word he wrote. Combining the words mantle and light. When Paul of Tarsus displayed the shroud, it's not done in a church, and the shroud is not laid out on a table. It's backlit. Like this. The illuminated shroud. That's how that word would be translated. An illuminated mantle, illuminated shroud. And then we go to this passage here, which is even more revealing. Galatians 3:1. O foolish Galatians, who has cast a spell on you? It was before your eyes that Jesus was publicly exhibited as crucified. Now, what is he talking about there? What did the people in the middle of central Turkey see in Galatia? And very noteworthy, this is forensic evidence now, there are pollens from Galatia on the Shroud of Turin, and also the port city of Troas that we just talked about. Pollens from up to 28 different plants from Jerusalem, going all the way to the ancient city of Edessa, Syria. Edessa was in Syria at that time. And of course, the Shroud of Turin is a Syrian woven cloth, 8 by 2 cubits, 1st century measuring system. Again, it's a clue as to the age of the cloth. There are pollens from up to 9 different plants, going from one side of Turkey, from Syria all the way to Constantinople on the Shroud. That's nearly 700 miles, 700-mile journey. Pollens from up to 9 different plants from Turkey and Galatia. Why are there pollens from Galatia on the Shroud? Why was this cloth in the open air in Galatia? Oh, foolish Galatians, who has cast a spell on you. It was before your eyes that Jesus was publicly exhibited as being crucified. As if you had seen a picture of his death on the cross is another translation. This word that Paul of Tarsus used means to display prominently, beforehand marked, graphic, signboard. And the word sign means pointer, marker, manifestation, evidence, proof, assurance. Thinking about this in a practical sense, how was Paul of Tarsus going to be able to convince people in the middle of central Turkey, people have never heard of Jesus, he's the resurrected Messiah, without any physical evidence, based solely on hearsay testimony? No way. There's no way he's going to get people in Galatia or anywhere else for that matter to believe Jesus is the resurrected Messiah without some kind of physical evidence. They had to see something. And what did they see? They saw the illuminated shroud, the illuminated mantle. Now, this is the first reference to the Shroud of Turin, other than Matthew, Mark, and Luke, that say Joseph purchased a long sheet of fine linen. Mark 15:46, Joseph bought a linen shroud. And another translation, Joseph bought a long sheet of fine linen. This is a long sheet of fine linen, 8 by 2 cubits. A cloth from Syria. Why is it from Syria? Because Joseph of Arimathea purchased it from a Syrian merchant outside the Damascus gate after his meeting with Pilate. Where would people be selling their goods during the Passover? The main entrance to the city. What's the main entrance? The Damascus gate. Joseph of Arimathea had permission to obtain the body of Jesus, so he exited through the Damascus gate to go to Golgotha. And who did he come upon? A Syrian merchant. A Syrian merchant selling a long sheet of fine linen, a long mantle. And he bought it. This was the sign of Jonah, the pointer, the marker, the manifestation, the proof, the assurance that Jesus is the resurrected Messiah. This is the most powerful witness in the world that tells the most powerful truth. May that truth set you free.
Forever.
Leviticus 17:11.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the cross to make atonement for your souls. For it is in the blood that makes atonement for the soul.